Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, August 15th, 2025. Welcome to another eBay video. Tonight's main topic is going to be discussing changes that eBay announced at the eBay Open 2025 Summit in Vegas over the last couple of days. It will not be a behind the scenes look like I usually do because I didn't go. But I am going to highlight the changes they announced are coming, and I've got some very, very good news for all of you eBay sellers. Yeah, I'm also going to be talking about this week in eBay after I cover that topic. So that being said, let's get right into it. First of all, as you probably know, this was the first time since 2012 I did not go to the eBay Open event. And I was really bummed out about it. I really wanted to go in the worst way, but it just couldn't come to fruition. So what I did is I took notes for you guys, and I spoke to a lot of people that were there. Everybody had a good time as usual. The Backstreet Boys was the band that appeared at the big party at the end. So yeah, those of us who didn't go, we missed a good one. I'm only going to do one very short cutaway this week. It's only about 25 seconds, and I'm going to go to that right now. I want you to hear a very small part, of the opening keynote address from eBay CEO Jamie Iannone. So let's get to that first.
I know there's some people watching online like Matt Jackson, who's been on the platform for 21 years. Paul Apollina, who sells engine parts. He's been on for 24 years. Joe DeMarco. Joe is also known as Hubcap Joe. He's been on for 26 years. Joe, you got a fan club in the front. You probably can't see them, but they're cheering for you. And Catherine Allen is also online. She's been on the platform for 27 years. So thank you for calling in.
Guys, I never saw that coming. I was sitting right here at my desk, listening and watching the event, and also doing some packing as well. And when Jamie announced my name, I was absolutely shocked. I am very, very thankful and humbled to have been remembered by the eBay executives. So yeah, it really felt good to be recognized, and I want to also thank the people who were cheering me, and I honestly don't know exactly who it was, but if any of you were there, I would love to know about it. So thank you guys for all that. Let's talk about the changes that were announced, and it is my understanding that these changes will start taking place this October. The first change has to do with item not received cases. Hypothetical situation. In the past, you ship an item to your buyer. You ship it on time, you're using eBay labels, you're doing everything right, but the post office screws up and delays the shipment. The person doesn't get the item. They filed an item not received case, and your money was yanked out of your account and given to the buyer. However, a few days later, the item shows up and the buyer now has your item and their money back. You have nothing. In the past, nothing was done about that. The change will now be when that happens, eBay will refund you out of their pocket. So that is a plus. It's not something that happens a heck of a lot, but it is going to be a plus. Also, starting in October, all new eBay buyer accounts must be verified with a phone number and a credit card, credit or debit card. This is a long time in coming. A long time in coming, but this is also an excellent move, a step forward. Now here's one that I really like. This is probably my favorite announcement of the whole list. It has to do with no returns. As it is now, and as it always was, you could have no returns on your item for any reason. You could have, a blue sweater with a button missing, and they want to return it because you sold them a blue sweater with a button missing, and you had to eat it. Well, in many cases, that's going to change starting in October, but only if you're selling the item in the for parts / not working category. So, hypothetical situation. You're selling an old iPhone and you sell it for parts not working. Somebody buys it, gets the item, and you have no returns, and they want to return it for a buyer's remorse reason. Let's say didn't like it or even not working. You will not have to take the return anymore. eBay will back you up. Now you're saying, well, that's great, Joe, but we both know that there's a lot of bad buyers that will claim false item not as described. Agreed. In cases like that, where you're selling in the for parts not working category with no returns and you use eBay labels, eBay will then step in and vet each particular transaction on a case-by-case basis to be sure that it's not a case of buyer remorse. For instance, with the sweater I just talked about, they may tell the buyer to upload a picture. And if he shows a picture of a blue sweater with a button missing, too bad. It will be rejected. This idea is very similar to what I've been talking about for many years, where they should have an ad hoc committee going over these things. In this case, eBay itself is doing it. Only time will tell how this is going to work out. But again, this is very good news. Been a very long time in coming. And I think eBay has finally taken the cue on this because too many bad buyers were abusing the privilege. Now, one more thing. In the same scenario I just described above, in the past, a bad buyer would have 30 days to claim item not as described. Starting in October, 3 days. They have only 3 days. But please keep in mind one thing, listen very carefully. It is my understanding that everything I've just told you only applies to the for parts and not working category. Not to used, certainly not to new, but for parts not working. So please, please keep that in mind, write it down, do what you got to do. Next topic. Automated positive feedback. eBay talked about this months ago, never implemented it, but they said starting in October here in the USA, all sellers will start getting automated positive feedback. Once the buyer receives the item, and as long as the buyer does not make any claims or complaints. I'm not sure exactly how long the time frame is. I think it may be 30 days. I think we may have to wait 30 days to get it. That's fine with me. This is another positive step. I'm telling you something. I only regret that I couldn't have been there in person to cheer them on. Every single thing they said was positive. I saw nothing negative whatsoever. I want to talk a little bit now about logistics and the eBay Open event. One thing I noticed, and I'm sure you guys noticed it too if you were watching, even the keynote address when Jamie came out at the very beginning, that is the main announcement, the main time when everybody gets together. Did you notice how many empty seats there were? Did you? Like I said a few weeks ago, I've been to every one of these things since 2012, and every one always sold out. Not this one. Why do you think that is? I have some answers for you. Some of this is fact, because I checked into it. Some of it is conjecture on my part. Problem number one was they had the event much later in the year than they usually do. Meaning, out west, kids go back to school earlier than they do here on the East Coast. Now, you're probably thinking, well, who cares? Kids don't come to these events. And that's true, they don't. But their parents do. And it kind of throws a little monkey wrench into some of the works for those guys. That's problem number one. Number two, no matter when in the year, do you notice that they always wait to the last possible minute to make the announcement as to the date they're going to have it? Did you ever wonder why that is? Well, here's the reason. When eBay makes a deal with a hotel, let's say the Venetian, they have to commit to a certain amount of rooms in order to get the bulk rate discount. For instance, let's just say the Venetian demands at least 1,000 guaranteed rooms. eBay will commit to that. And if they fill them up, that's great. But if they don't, if they only fill up 800, eBay is on the hook for the other 200 and they have to still pay even though those rooms are vacant. The reason they don't make the announcement earlier is because there are some people who will shop around for a much cheaper rate in the area. Maybe not one of those big glitzy hotel casinos, but maybe one of the smaller ones not on the strip to get a much cheaper rate. This is especially true of people who are not that far away and they're coming by car. So if they have a car, it could save them a lot of money if they're staying in one of the cheaper places. In fact, one of my friends who I was speaking with told me she pays, I forgot what the price was, let's just say maybe $50 to $90 a night, as opposed to whatever these big hotels get, which is way more. It's probably over $300. I don't even know. But yeah, it can be a big difference. And eBay understandably would like as many people to stay in the main hotel as possible because they've committed. And if they don't sell these rooms, they're on the hook for it. So that's another reason. One more reason, and I've been hearing this from people like me on the East Coast, it's too freaking far. Every year it's out in Vegas. And again, I did some asking around with the powers that be, and I honestly don't think it's ever going to change. And I do understand eBay's mindset on that because it would cost eBay so much more money to fly their people out here to New York City as opposed to Vegas. And there are some eBay sellers, actually quite a few, that love going to Vegas because there's so much to do with the nightlife. And there's no disputing that. The place never shuts down. So I can understand their point, but it's just really tough for us East Coasters. All right. I think that about covers everything I wanted to talk about regarding eBay Open 2025. Now I'm going to move into this week in eBay and talk a little bit about some of the fun topics there. Starting off with good news. Sales increased greatly for me on Wednesday and Thursday, especially Thursday. My God, you would think I was giving things away for free. Yesterday, sales were non-stop. However, to be honest, it was all cheap stuff, mainly. Maybe under $30 or $40. But a lot of it, and I was happy. I'll take those cheap sales, I don't care. So, I don't know if that means anything, or maybe they had to buy from me because a lot of other people were out in Vegas with their stores on vacation and I was open for business. But anyway, I'm happy with sales. One thing I mentioned, actually I wrote several questions in hoping they would answer them at the live event. Some of them they did, some of them they didn't. One problem I had again this week, and it's one of those things that really rubs me the wrong way, is when a person will send me a lowball offer on an item. Let's say, for argument's sake, $40 on a $100 item. and I will decline the offer. A few seconds later, they will send me a second offer, but this time they offer $30. That is obviously done to break balls, okay? When they do that, they get blocked. But I wish eBay would have some kind of checks and balances in place so that when a person makes an offer, in this case, let's say the original $40 offer, that they could not make a second offer of the same or lesser amount. There should be some kind of guardrail in place to stop that. There never has been, but I'm telling you something. It happens more often than you think. A lot of people in the Facebook groups have talked about this, and it's still going on. Another problem just happened to me yesterday. A guy sent me a counter offer of $75 on an item, which I thought was reasonable. When I went to accept it, eBay said to me, Joe, you can accept as many offers on this item as you want, and it's going to stay on the shelf until someone actually buys it, which really concerns me because this person who made the $75 offer is under no commitment to pay me. And if he doesn't pay, oh well. So I wrote in on the live event yesterday and I asked them, do they get an unpaid item strike for this? And they came right out and said, no, they don't. It is now 24 hours. I've not been paid for that item. So as soon as I'm done working on this video and getting it ready, I'm going to go on to eBay. I'm going to block that fool. I'm going to even end the listing so he doesn't get it for the 75. And I'm just going to click on sell similar and I'm going to put it back up there. I really wish they would do something about that, but I don't think they're going to. My third craziness for the week was, you guys think that lowball offers is probably the worst thing you can ever get. It's not. Periodically, not often, but periodically, I get people that want my item for free. I swear, I'm not lying. I had another one this week. He said something to the effect, I see you have a set of hubs that I really want. I also have a set that doesn't fit my car. Could I trade you the set I have for the set you have? I want to trade even. I'm not lying. This really happened to me. He got blocked, of course. Trade even. I'm not Monty freaking Hall, okay? I'm just trying to make a living. That happened to me this week. Oh, a couple of other things I meant to tell you earlier. I'm just going to jump back briefly to the eBay Open 2025 event. Griff announced he's retiring. The oldest, longest tenured employee is retiring. Sorry to see him go. Griff ran eBay Radio for many years. He was a really good guy. Liked him a lot. Met him in person. I was on his show many times. He will be sorely missed. Also, there were a few technical issues in the eBay Open live stream. In certain presentations, there was problem with the sound. There was one person typing on their keyboard and it was coming over so loud, it was almost deafening. And a couple of times the video froze when Rebecca was talking near the very end. So yeah, all in all, I'm very, very satisfied with it. I'm going to leave you with one funny story. I shouldn't even call it funny because it's not, but it highlights a problem that I've talked about for many months, if not years. It has to do with geriatric buyers. This didn't happen to me. It happened to a friend of mine who sells in motors, but this guy is the textbook geriatric problem buyer and accentuates every problem I've ever mentioned to you in the last few months. What happened? My friend sold a hub for guess what? Guess what kind of car? Mercury Grand Marquis. Trouble with a capital T. All right? The guy gets it, opens the box, and some of the little lugs have popped out of their position in shipping, which is common. All you got to do is press them back in, use your lug wrench, and put it on your wheel. Very easy. Well, this old timer went ballistic. Called my friend every name in the book. Really, you could tell the guy was 100 years old, typing in all capital letters like they all do, and called him every name in the book, repeated messages. So my friend wrote back to him and said, listen, I accept returns. Just send it back. There's no reason to berate me like this. Truthfully, you could put the lugs right back in and attach it. But if you don't want, no problem, just send it back. The guy opens a return, okay, no problem there. But then he comes right back into messages, continues his hate-filled rant. I've never seen a more spiteful, hateful generation in my life. They don't want to let it go. And they always blame everybody else. They never take responsibility. But anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about now. I think I've reached my 30-minute allotment. And I don't like to keep you guys anymore because I know you guys have things to do. All right, you have jobs, you want to do your packing, and I don't blame you one bit. I'm on your side. Often I see videos I want to watch from other people over an hour. I don't have an hour. No way, man. Not happening. Anyway, I'm Crazy New York Driver. You're not. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it informative, enlightening, and entertaining. I hope you make a lot of money on eBay this week. Rock on and peace.